So, at some point, electronics seeped their way into rock.
Mm-hmm.
So you got your synthesizer going on.
Uh-huh.
So how has that been rocking your world?
That device is one of the most incredible things I've ever come into contact with. And that's not to say I don't love my, several basses I own. I still love playing bass. I still love playing guitar. I love to play drums, or try to. It's very hard. But the Moog synthesizer, I got a Moog Sub-Fatty, which I can't tell you too much technical stuff about it, but it's a small synthesizer, and God bless my mom. She got it for me for Christmas. I don't deserve it, but I've been playing it a lot, so I'm trying to. That instrument is incredible, and it's been used on so many different records, not particularly the Sub-Fatty model, but the Moog in general, and there's so many different options. And the way I work with that thing is I'll just sit down in front of it and I'll click a certain,
preset or something.
Yeah, of like a sound I like, and I'll see where it takes me.
Yeah,
and I'll just have these long improv jam sessions and record them and be like, I like that part of it. Maybe I can do something with that.
Yeah.
I have to take a picture sometimes of what knobs are turned where.
Yeah.
There's a song I'm working on called Cold Pipes, and there's a sound I got that sounds like a heating system. And it's very relaxing. It's a very relaxing sound, almost eerie in a way. And I had to look at the pictures of my knobs, and I got it kind of close. And it's pretty challenging. So it's kind of a thing where, what you have, if you're improvising with that thing, you're probably not going to get it exactly like you had it, because there's so many damn knobs. I mean, that's a great thing, but it's like, I don't know, going into a library and being like, oh, what was that book called? What was that book called? There's something like that, you know, or trying to find a needle in a haystack. It can be challenging, but it's also really fun too, because I had to really listen hard to the frequencies also, and I had to do a few things differently than how I had those knobs. I don't know why, but I had to do a few things differently to get it sounding even remotely close.
Yeah, well, that's a weird thing about playing with like analog synthesis is that it's alive. Like you're basically like all the different variables that are going on. Like that thing is a living sort of entity, because you like turn a knob this way, and you get a big or whatever. It's as organic as you can get with like an electronic instrument, really.
Yeah, I mean, the technical side, I don't see. There's so many technical terms that I don't know about, but I know that there are certain frequencies when they react that can be on kilter, off kilter, which causes wavelengths. The basic, I guess, idea of sound, and just the way there's so many sounds you can get out of that thing is incredible, because it's like I could switch from one mood to completely different in the next second. I can go from chaotic and terrifying to just really serene and pretty. And there's so many different options. I can make a whole soundtrack, multi-tracking that thing. And one of the tracks I'm doing on this upcoming EP, sorry to bring it up so much, but the first track has about 4 layers of the same synthesizer, just different sounds. And I love it. I just love it, And the possibilities are endless too. Not only having that, but I could, for other songs I have the guitar and bass over that synth. So, or percussion. So
And the other like thing about it is that it is like a bass as well.
Absolutely.
It's a Sub-Fatty, which is specifically a bass synth. Right.
You got that low end, really fat, hence the Sub-Fatty. There's a lot of stuff you can do. So if you want to have a high trebly part, I've got a one of those octave knobs or scroll, whatever you call it. whenever I want to get it really low, I can get it really low. Whenever and there's like switches too, to where you can pick a particular octave and mess with the octave raiser and lower within that octave, I think. That's what I've acquired visually. Once again, I'm not a technical guy. It's like a kid in a candy store knocking everything over. But it's just like, it's absurd. It really is.
So how is messing with a sort of bass instrument sort of affected how you play the bass?
Theory-wise, if that's kind of what you're going for.
No, just at all.
Just at all. I could say that it's good to be doing keys again and kind of get my motions. And I honestly haven't been. I do small little exercises sometimes where it's like when you do a scale, your fingers switch off. You know, and that might not make sense just saying that, but like there's a specific way you play like a major scale, let's say, or a minor scale. Your fingers alternate, and of course they alternate. But like, I'm trying to think of a way I could put it, you know, for people that don't necessarily know what I'm talking about. I can't. I don't think I can right now.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4 is a major scale on your right hand.
Stuff like that. Stuff like that, and that is I'm good to be because I had a piano class with shout out to Mr. Haverkamp.
Yeah.
Great teacher, great piano player. That class taught me a lot. And I had to look at sheet music for that class, do scales, do Hanon 1 through 100 or whatever, and that helped me a lot. That helped me get comfortable with the keyboard. Not that I was a shining pupil in that class, but it definitely helped. So, yeah, using my left hand, or sometimes I do something that will probably make traditional piano players and aficionados cringe, is I'll use my right hand on that instrument, even though it's really for, the left hand majority of it. But you can use both, even though the physical scale is very limited because it's a small instrument.
Yeah,
but
it's a mono instrument too. So
it's great, and someday I'd like to, have, and it's a mono thing because you can't press.
Yeah, you can't press two keys at the same time and have them both make sound.
Yeah, exactly. So maybe someday I could get another cheap synthesizer. I have a cheap piano, my friend's cheap piano that I use. So maybe I could pull the old Keith Emerson, Rick Wakeman, and have like one hand doing that bass part and then one hand doing the treble part.
Yeah.
I have a kimono too. How fitting. I'll ham it up. Yeah, something like that maybe. That'd be a good way to get good at playing two damn instruments at the same time. Even a regular piano, when you're playing those different parts, it's insane. Like doing that for the first time, I really had to focus in piano class to get the two hands to act at the same time. It's different than guitar.
Yeah. But do you need to go?
I can talk a little bit more.
Yeah, like we were talking earlier, how whenever you combine different mediums or different feels or different genres, like you get something new. And so rather than just because that's something that I've explored too. So for the longest time, I had Ableton Live Lite, which is just it only allows 8 tracks, and like some limited amount of instruments. And so for a while, all the music that I would make was just like within those barriers. And then whenever I got the full version of Ableton, I was just like, oh, let's go. And so the first thing I did was like, here's 3 drum tracks and 3 bass tracks. And just like started out big.
Full on experimentation, It's like, it's not in a derogatory way, but it's like a kid in a candy store.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fun.
And so once you sort of take off the limits and you start seeing the possibilities of just one aspect of a thing, like you get to have a lot of fun with that. and really just like learning how to use analog synthesis can really open up possibilities. So so what's an element that you've wanted to combine into your music that you've been curious about but haven't like thrown in there yet?
And this is obviously very inspired by a group I listened to that I was referring to earlier in the last podcast, Popol Vuh. They combine elements of traditional tribal African music and Latin American music, South American music with synthesizers and guitars and basses. So those two elements are very strange together. And I just bought some bongas and I've been playing around on them. And I bought tablas, those Indian percussive instruments. I would like to combine that with the Moog synthesizer and then like, you know, a bass line I can make up or a guitar part or a vocal melody. And I'd just like to combine those different elements and then any other, maybe the aggression of punk or something or, you know, ambient music too. That's another thing because you can get some strange sounds, you know, just combining different elements. Stuff like that I would like to try, definitely. And I know there's some other stuff I've been thinking about trying that would be like, I don't know, like something like, I've always wanted to do you know, doom metal, but with sax, like a really gross saxophone in the back. I think that would actually be pretty cool, you know. And I don't know if anyone's done that. I know they've done it with violins and such.
Try it, man.
Yeah, punk with saxophones work. You know, Stooges, Funhouse. That's an excellent record. That's a big inspiration. That and, you know, prog bands with those saxophones. I like the element of like, a great example is Buddha's band, actually. They do like, you know, some pretty evil sounding music, but they have like trumpet and like baritone sax and all these and like bongos and stuff, just playing this evil music, and I love that. I love that sense of it can be heavy, but you don't necessarily have to be like Gent Warrior 3000. You know what I mean? You know, or you know, I mean, you don't have to play metal music to make it heavy. I think heaviness just comes from the way it makes you feel, stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, so combining, you know, in a sense, combining strange elements together that may not necessarily go together. But I could be a hack. I'm sure maybe 200 other people have done that already. Oh well, I still want to do it. Sounds fun.
Yeah. And at some point you're making stuff your way. 'Cause you're the only you.
Right. Exactly. I'm the only person who touches the instrument in the way, you know, I do. I mean, you can get similar people, but at the same time, you're still the only person who thinks like you do. You're the only person that.
Yeah.
You know. You know.
No, I mean, I look forward to hearing what you got. I think lately I'm considering mixing a lot of electronics with acoustic instruments, like because I'm back at main campus working on my master's in composition. So
congratulations! That's really cool.
I guess access to a whole bunch of different like instruments, and I want to see what I can do with different instrumentalists and like I don't know. Some people haven't experienced that world over there, and so I'm like, hey, I do music production. Let's fuck shit up.
No, hell
so
yeah.
It's like, let's take your flute and run it through like 12 amp models and see what happens. Like, you know,
that's the way. That is the way to go. Is it? And not for everyone. It's not. You know, like I'm not saying to everyone, you know, oh, go out on this psychedelic journey and you know play a sax through you know the most crappy amp you can find to see what grotesque sound you can give, but never limit yourself. Have fun, explore. And that's another thing is like I want to work with a lot of different musicians. Like here's another thing is like I feel kind of guilty if I have people playing on a project I have, but at the same time, if there's an instrument I haven't mastered yet and I'm working on all this other stuff, you might as well have someone come in, like let's say I need a drum track, I might have to get a session drummer or someone that can play the drums better than I can for time's sake, because I don't have all the time in the world to do this stuff, I say that as I'll go home and like watch a documentary about something and eat Lay's chips, But anywho, it's good to get other musicians in on it, because there's a song I'd like to do in the future where it'd have a flute part on it. I don't know how to play the damn flute. I'm not trying to make a comedy album, so I probably need to. There's some people I knew in high school that played the flute that I'm friends with on Facebook, and I like to hit one of them up when I'm doing that project and have them play on that composition. Hell, I might have to even get back into notating stuff and writing sheet music,
right?
Because I kind of know how to, but like it's kind of like me with math problems. I'll do it, and they'll be like, "Oh, that's cute. Well, here's what you'd actually do." But I just need to do it more often.
Well, yeah. The possibilities are endless.
They are.
I know it seems like, we have access to like all the music and everyone's just making all the music all the time, but it's like there's really anything now. And
exactly. It really is. Just keep searching, And if you're stuck in a rut, happens to everyone. Happens to your beloved maestro, whoever you may look up to. Happened to them too. It's part of human nature. Is boredom maybe, or you're not feeling good. You're feeling tired while you're making music. Give yourself a rest. Come back to it. Have fun. That's what I can say.
Yeah. Well, awesome. I'll do all the plugging again because it's a podcast. But again, I don't want to make you late for things.
No, you're good.
So real quick, where can we find your things?
Let's see. Well, we got a CD I just we put out on the label Suck It Records. This stoner doom metal band I was in with hardcore punk influences as well, called Druggernaut, Magnum Opus, now available on CD from Suck It Records. We've also got Druggernaut on Bandcamp as well, the Magnum Opus EP, and how you'd spell that is Druggernaut. Yeah. And I'm going to be working on I am working on it currently. I'm working on like 4 songs at the same time. Honestly, never do that. Unless you want to drive yourself mad.
Gotta get it done somehow.
Future EP going to be called Ukraine, that should be coming out in the near future.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for the in stores now part.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I'm Santiago Ramones.
I'm Jackson Fritz.
You can find everything that I do on my website, santiagoromones.com. I make music. I have some stuff on Bandcamp that you can download either for free or you can throw money at me. It's up to you. I'm going to be doing some gigs throughout the year, so you can keep an eye on my page or my Instagram or whatever. I'll keep you updated, and you'll get to see me scream at you, I guess. I don't really scream that much, but it's funnier to say that.
It is.
Yeah, and then maybe I'll reel Jackson in to play with me.
I'd love to.
So yeah. Oh yeah, and also leave reviews, comment on stuff. Let me know what you think about the podcast, and yeah, because I want to know who's listening to this, who's enjoying it, who's not enjoying it. Let me know. Leave reviews, all that junk. I always end my podcast with my 3 things. They shape my life philosophy. Those. Oh, it looked like you were about to say something.
I just want to say one more thing, and I'm not just saying this to kiss up or to just say it for saying it or publicity. He's not giving me money under the table or anything. I promise. Santiago, he's a good bloke, handsome fella, very nice. Not just saying that, he is one of the kindest people I've interacted interacted here at ACM. Great guy. Come on his podcast. Have a good time. If he's gonna plug my stuff, I gotta plug his stuff too. He's a good cat.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it a lot. My 3 things are: love never fails. It's going to be okay. I might be wrong.